I don't know how to thank you, Rashida Saiba. This was again one of the best, the greatest presentation with so much material, so much research. Thank you so much for sharing with us. I see two questions, if you don't mind, Rashida Saiba.
Yes, carry on.
Before I go into those two questions, there are a lot of good comments. I know normally you don't like to hear any of them, but there are a lot of good comments, and the sugar guzari, sugar guzari for you for giving your time and knowledge to the Jamaat as a whole. So, uh, please mute your.
Mute.
Thank you. So first question is, could you shed a little bit light on Chirag Roshan? And it's a two-parted question. And second, has any of our Ginans or other tradition adopted by any other culture do we know of?
Yes, very good. I'm glad you asked that question. Okay, so let's go with Chirag Roshan first. You know the word Chirag means lamp and Roshan means illuminated lamp. So you can see straight away that this Chirag Roshan is based on the Quran. Because in the Quran, the lamp which gives light or is illuminated is mentioned in the ayat of Nur, Misbah, al-Misbahu. Okay, I'm so taken with my subject. Okay, let me just quickly repeat. Chirag Roshan, illuminated lamp, because of the two references, al-Misbahu, fi Sujajatin in ayat of Nur, and Sirajan Munira in the Surah 33, ayat 46, about the Prophet, that he was Sirajan Munir. So this ceremony enacts the entire meaning of the ayat of Nur, which talks about this Nur is in an embodied form in the lamp, and that this is not lit by any fire, meaning it is a Nur which continues from eternity, and it is Nurun ala Nur, and it is this Nur through which Allah guides whom He wills. Very brief, succinct summary of the ayat of Nur, which is a favorite ayat of the Ismailis, by the way. So this is the ceremony, and again, I'm really happy to share with you that Dr. Hunsai was the one who collated all the manuscripts, and then he produced the final copy which the Imam of the time approved, and it was circulated soon after the Golden Jubilee finished. Prior to this global copy, the uniform copy now, I have attended the Chirag Roshan in Hunza many times, and they used to have phrases in there in which they mentioned Sufis, Sufi sheikhs from here, there, and everywhere, from the Asia Minor, if you like, from Iran and northern areas, and from India. So they actually mentioned these Sufis who are not Ismailis. Why did they do that? Because Chirag Roshan was something which everybody could participate in. It was a bridge building instrument. So Chirag Roshan is from the Pir Nasir Kisra tradition. It involves the recitation of qasidas and of congregational, whoever is there, group zikr, which is beautiful. It is accompanied by the rubab and the daf, and the spiritual feeling is enhanced tremendously in Chirag Roshan. Okay? So that was about Chirag Roshan. And then the second question, do we know if the Ginan tradition has been adopted by other traditions? Oh, yes. Professor Azim Nanji visited the Al Khan Academy, and when he came back to London, he shared with us his surprise that the girls of Hunza, who do not know the Indian languages, they have their own Bulsheviki, Shina, and Urdu. but they recited Ashaji in the Jamaat Khana of the academy in Karimabad. And Azim Nanji was so highly impressed, and this I'm talking about the mid-90s, okay? Another example of how they adopted this, when forgetting I visited Syria, Salamia, of course we went to Jamaat Khana, and the Jamaat would say, you recite, you recite. They don't know the Indian languages. But if you recite a Ginan of our peers, everybody enjoys it. Why? Because it has spiritual vibrations. They know this is in praise of the Imam. So, yes, I do know examples where other traditions have happily. I give you one more example. In the India Darbar, in India Golden Jubilee visit, if I'm not mistaken, an Afghan girl, her name is Firishta, an Afghan girl recited the Sadruddin's Ginan in the Imam's presence. And when she went, as we all do, quite excited in the Imam's presence for his blessings, she was so excited that as soon as the Imam gave her the blessing, she ran off the stage. And afterwards the Mukhi said to her, Firishta, you should not have run away because Hazrat Imam wanted to talk to you. An Afghan girl reciting this this Ginan, of Sadruddin.
Unmuted.
Subhanallah.
Yes, I do know example.
Subhanallah, Subhanallah. One more question is, okay, I'm trying to understand the question. Okay, I'm going to ask them to rephrase this question because, okay, I'm going to let them rephrase the question. It's on WhatsApp. Please rephrase your question and send it to me again because I'm having a hard time understanding the question. The other one is a request. Is in the future, is there possible for you to come back and give us a few sessions on the history of the Ismailis in more detail? I believe they are talking about from the Mola Ali all the way to Shah Karim.
That would demand a lot of research because there are not many good histories written about our Imam. But let me share with you that when I was at the Institute for 3 years, I had started a paper on Maulana Ali. And I hope that I can complete this paper. It's 50 pages plus, and I intend to put it on our website, www.monoreality.org, so that whoever is interested can at least have a history from an Ismaili point of view of Maulana Ali. Okay, so that I can offer as a service to the Jamaat and to share knowledge. But to do a complete history of all our Imams, I would think I would have to do so much research, right? It wouldn't be that easy. But we can think about it. We can certainly think about a series on history, if you like, yes? We can. We can take periods, right? Like the Arabian period and the Syrian and the Istila, and then do a more generalized and picking up important points rather than going into each Imam and saying where he was born, which date was he born, because there's a controversy on this as well, right?
Okay, so
there are many. Oh yes, somebody here is pointing out that there are histories. I know that there are brief histories of Ismaili Imams. I think this what was his name? This Pakistani gentleman from Karachi, Mumtaz Tajdin. He has done a brief history of, So that's, we should certainly read whatever is available,
yes, I agree. And there are Urdu books on the Imam's history that is available in Pakistan or other countries in Urdu. So I guess this is the question. Given the diversity, we see increased number of marriages with people of book, like Sunni or Shia or Christians, as well as Hindu religion. Uh, what what do you think about that? And how and what and how to take care of the children of those interrelated marriages? I guess.
Uh, the first part of the question was a little bit confusing for me. Uh, could you just repeat that first part? What was asked?
G. Given the diversity, we see increased number of marriages with the people of the book like Sunni or Christian,
Yes.
as well as the
Yes.
Hindu religion or within the Hindus. What do you think about it? And what and how to take care of children from those marriages?
Yes. Okay, first of all, um, uh, you know, every country has reported in the West, I'm talking about the West particularly, right? Because in the West, schools, colleges, workplaces are totally mixed and diverse, it is inevitable that Ismaili young people of marriageable age will come into contact with other communities, and falling in love is something which mostly people can't control, right? If you fall in love, you fall in love. So these type of marriages will take place, and I know that Hazima has actually said that that's okay, that's a positive thing, and that is the way people will know about our tariqa, our faith, because like I said to you earlier, that we have stopped converting from the 1930s, the time of Maulana Sultan Muhammad Shah, which has a very esoteric meaning to it as well, but this is for another time. So yes, and our community does everything to involve these non-Ismaili, I should have used the word non-Ismaili, multi-faith partners, right? For instance, they come for Didar. They may not be in the actual hall, but they are given accommodation elsewhere, and then the Imam meets some of them and talks to them, and the Imam encourages them to do voluntary work with our institutions. Right? I think you are all aware of that, right? And the same with us. All our social functions, most new Jamaat Khanas have libraries and social halls where they can wait for their Ismaili partner to finish their practices and come. There are all sorts of facilities to watch videos or read the journals, magazines, whatever. So yes, we should do that because we live in a cosmopolitan world now. So yes, this is quite fine, and I think we should all have open minds. When it comes to the children, okay, what about the children? Yes? Now, I always give the example of Princess Zahra. You know that Princess Zahra married a Christian, Britisher, right? From here. And he and she, before they signed the papers, they sat and had a conference or a discussion, and they agreed, both of them agreed, that the children would become Ismaili Muslims, right? And this was on the front page of our Times of London with the engagement photograph, because he's a Britisher, so they put it on the front page, whereas when Hazima married Begum Nara, because she's German, they put it on the back page. So, yes, if you are to marry outside the community, and if your partner is willing, then the children should follow the faith, the Ismaili faith, if that partner is strong enough and can nurture them and nourish them and bring them up in that faith. And you find mostly that if it is Ismaili girls, they do that. But the Ismaili men are, I think, a bit weak on that side, yeah? That's my own personal belief, okay? My personal conclusion. I'm not saying that, yeah? So, yes, I think, and of course there is also the option to bring them up in both and then let them decide themselves when they are 18. Which should be a challenge, which should be a real challenge.
Okay, so I have this last question here is, uh, okay, so dua. So our children who does not speak Urdu, Gujarati or of Arabic, is it okay if they recite the translation of the dua in English, as we had done in the past, that we will recite the translation in Urdu in our own time? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, my thought is that, how many times have I repeated like a broken record that our primary source is the Holy Quran. And the language of the Quran is Arabic. And every part of our dua, we have either a whole surah, like first part and sixth part, and in between ayats or parts of ayats in the rest of the parts, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Therefore, when we say we live in a knowledge society, where knowledge is so easy to acquire, there are so many means. You can learn Arabic sitting at your computer with somebody in Egypt. My cousin did that. So I don't think that you can compare what you did in your time because you didn't have those facilities. Today, the facilities are there. People learn all sorts of skills, right? And so it is not a good excuse to say we should just recite it in the English, because the English meanings are, they are not deep enough. You remember the Farman of 1967 of the Bombay Ismaili Association? Not only should you know the meanings of the dua, you should know the concepts which are behind them. And those concepts are in the Quran. So I would say to whoever has asked this question, be confident and be courageous and learn the Arabic dua. It's not something impossible, because the Quran, Allah's blessing in the Quran's revelation is that He has made it easy to learn, which is why exoteric Muslims, they have a special celebration when their 8, 9, 10-year-old child finishes the whole Quran. It is easy to learn the Quran. It's not that difficult.
Subhanallah, Subhanallah. Agree, completely agree. Okay, two more questions. I don't understand this question completely, but I will go ahead and read it. What does karma means in Ismaili Tariqa? If you understand the question, please go ahead.
Yeah, I want to ask this person who has asked this question, were they present when I described why we have diversity in our global Ismaili Jamaat? I think
I think everybody is muted. I believe this person was here from the beginning.
So I have one answer here, yes. Okay. So if you were present when I discussed why Sri Sadruddin took certain Hindu doctrines into our Ginans to build a bridge by which the Hindus could cross over comfortably into the Ismaili Tariqa. So all these concepts like karma, reincarnation, avatar, Deni, all these are Hindu doctrines which were adapted by the Firs as a bridge. And nowadays, of course, because all religions are sharing the information about their faiths. There's a lot on the YouTube about karma and Hinduism, and then there are all these so-called spiritual writers in the West who have adopted this vocabulary and then made money by writing books about things like that, right? I think the Islamic concept of a human being is very different. Like yesterday I also explained, two anas, our soul has two ends, the higher eye and the lower eye, and they are never separated. And the whole purpose of ibadah, of parodie, is for the lower eye to experience the higher eye. And so, karma, I don't think we can, give it an Islamic meaning, right? It was simply an acknowledgement by the peers that yes, you have this belief, but now in the Islamic belief, your birth is a gift from God, in which God wishes you to recognize your own soul so that you can recognize God. Okay?
Thank you. Two more questions, inshallah. Okay, just a few minutes ago, earlier you mentioned that at the time of Imam Akasusa Muhammad Shah, the Dawat was closed. So why are we a closed religion now? Why don't we actively convert people now or in this age?
Okay, the logical answer to that is that, all over the world, even so-called developing countries, education has helped the human intellect to develop a lot more. And so the logical answer is that we don't need to do that. Everything is so transparent now. There is so much information is available. People can use their own intellects. Like Queen Asif Israel did. Use your own intellect. Yeah? And then you find the path. And a lot of people are doing that. A lot of people are doing that, right? And we know that from people who have admitted, let me just share this anecdote, that when I was at the Tariqa board in the early 90s, in fact, late 80s, Jain gentleman and his wife, at the age of 70 and 73, they admitted to the Ismaili Tariqa. We call them admissions. We don't call them conversions because they applied and then they went through a process and they became Ismaili. And this gentleman, who is now in the spiritual world, in a very good place, I'm sure, he said to me in Gujarati, but this is the English, he said to me, sister, there are many in my community who are hidden Ismailis, but they don't have the courage to defy their society and community and to come out and admit that they are.
Okay.
So, I think some of you may have read Professor Shafiq Virani's paper about Gupti Ismailis in India. There are Guptis and then there are Guptis of Guptis. Even the Guptis don't know the Guptis of Guptis, right? So anything is possible, yeah? Anything is possible and one should be aware. That's it, yeah?
All right, I know our time is over, but this is a rebuttal of the previous question and your answer. That you mentioned that the Ginans and the introduction in the Ginan is from our Hindu tradition. So rebuttal is then why? Sorry about that. So if it was for the Hindu, why do we recite these Ginans today? And why Imam emphasized on learning Ginan with a meaning? Please clarify.
Yeah, you should be aware that in 1975 there was a conference in Paris at which Hazrat Imam created categories of Armans. At one time, our Jamaat used to recite Das Avtar of Pesaduddin. There is a longer version and a shorter one. And they used to recite this with great enthusiasm, right? Now today, if you ask any Israel in the West, what is Das Avtar, they will look at you and, in amazement. What is this person speaking about, right? People of my age know what is Das Avtar. But you ask a 20-year-old, I ask my students here in the small classes which I conduct, do you understand this Dinan Chare Chare Jugamaye Pari Pari Joy? They didn't understand. They didn't even understand what jugs are, what char is, and what does it mean. So automatically, because the language is lost, therefore things are going to change. But there are dinars which are being recited in the Jamaat Khana. We no longer recite dinars with things like Sati, Draupadi, etc. because nobody knows who she was. Right? And so automatically things evolve. You should understand the meaning of the word evolve. Our tariqah is about evolution. There is no revolution. There is evolution. There will be gradual change according to the Imam's guidance, not anybody else's, the Imams. Okay? And so we are reciting Dinan because some of them are absolutely Quranic based. They teach ethics, morals. They are beautiful compositions about spiritual progress and ibadat. So yeah, we should, that's why Hazimam says it's a golden tradition, because when you take on the few hours which are full of references to Hindu mythology, then you have dinars which are spiritual enlightenment. That's the meaning of the word dinar.
Last question. I believe this is a continuation on the karma, but in that case, because what you said about the karma, why we all have come with a different kismat, luck and knowledge?
I'm surprised you asked me this question when our whole session has been about diversity. Can you imagine if we were all the same color, or if you all spoke the same language, we all combed our hair the same way? I think Azimam has used that in a speech. How boring life would be. God has created, look, in the English language, we have the same variety is the spice of life. In the ordinary English language, society language, variety is the spice of life. So that's your answer, that God in His wisdom has created a world of diversity, which I showed you in nature, I showed you through the Quran, and I showed you through your own. Are you asking me a question, why has God not made all my 5 fingers the same? Think about what you ask, okay? Ours is a faith of intellect. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rashida Sahaba, for a great session. This was the last of the 6th session that Rashida Sahaba has graciously agreed to present to this group online. We truly appreciate all your time, all your research. I know this was not just 6 hours of session, but maybe over 100 hours of research. And we thank your friend Nasir for helping you with the slides. And sometime in the emails and through the media, we lose some of those pictures. But I will make sure that I will enter that one picture which was lost before we circulate. We truly appreciate that, and we truly appreciate all of the friends online who wake up early in the morning on Sunday to join us. Thank you so much again. Ya Ali Madad.
Mola Ali Madad to all of you, and thank you all for your time.
Ya Ali Madad, and may Mola bless you.
Ameen, 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 and thank you for all your prayers. Ameen, Ameen. Wonderful session. Thank you.
Yeah, Mother, thank you.